Hello everyone, Chris Santiago of MMA Islands. Today we're here with the big man himself, Big Mo, ahead of XMMA 5. Big Mo, how's it going today?
Going good. I flew in yesterday, so yesterday I kind of hung out. Today hanging out a little bit, getting ready for weigh-ins and for fighter interviews tomorrow, and then obviously the show on Saturday.
What's the energy like over here in Columbia, South Carolina? You know, you've been to New Orleans, you've been to Greenville, you've been all over the world for other shows, so what's the energy like over here?
It's really good. I mean, look, whenever you have these more, regional type of promotions in terms of like focusing on certain regions, it's always important to get fighters that are from the area because they carry a fan base that's going to come through, right? Whenever promotions try to go with just a nationwide show and they just pull people in from everywhere, it's sometimes tough to get the community and the local people involved or interested. So for this card, I mean, I think we have 4 or 5 guys from South Carolina. I know the ticket sales have been strong. I know that South Carolina is always looking for shows to happen. And it's been great, man. It's a college town. It's a young town. I've been talking to people in Uber rides and at restaurants that heard about it. So from what I can tell, I think everyone's into it.
We already know the preparation for fighters, weight cuts, but what's the preparation like for an announcer? You got to do some vocal warm-ups. Like, what is the preparation for Big Mo before this event?
So I can't give away all the secrets of the trade. There's things that I do that I think are a little unique, but preparation is key with everything. I mean, I'm a former college football player. In the same way that, I would stretch and I would warm up for football, I kind of do similar things with both my body but also my voice getting ready for the show. I mean, hydration's key, vocal warm-ups is key. I go through vocal warm-ups similar to that of a singer. I'm a big perfectionist, so practicing enunciation, practicing names, getting my fight cards done. I rehearse the names as I'm doing my fight cards. I mean, nothing crazy, but just really intently focused, if that makes sense.
One more question for you. What's the most challenging name that you've pronounced over the mic?
I remember actually when we did XMMA in Miami, we had like 4 or 5 guys on the card that were Brazilian and from Belize and different, actually maybe not Belize, but various South American countries. So there were some weird names that used the letter J. I remember there was one name, it was spelled C-A-U-T-A, but it had an accent on the A, and it was actually pronounced, so you would think it'd be pronounced Kauta or Kauta. It was actually pronounced Cowatung. Don't know where the NG sound came from. That was one. I announced Hafthor Bjornsson in Dubai. That's obviously a difficult name, as we all probably know it, but that's a difficult name. So I would say one of those. I mean, I've had, smaller fighters on the more local scene that I did early on in my career that had some pretty brutal names, Filipino names and stuff like that are tricky, but as a whole, how I do it is, I go up to the fighters and I say, how do you pronounce your name? If I don't know how to pronounce it already, because obviously some John Smith is pretty easy, right? So I ask them, how do you pronounce your name? I have them say it for me so I can hear phonetically how it sounds, and then I repeat it back to them. And once they've confirmed that I said it right, it's done. And then what I do, the trick that I do is for really tricky names, I like to use my card as a reference. I very rarely read off my cards, but I use as a reference, so I actually write the name how it sounds. So I can't really think of an example off the top of my head, but if there was a tricky name that, maybe uses certain letters in a different way, I would just write it how it sounds, and that's the cue in my mind to say it like that.
What about Impa?
Say what?
What about Impa?
Impa, I actually had to look him up. It's pronounced Impa Kasaganai, or something. I have to review my notes. Kasaganai, and you would think that it'd be pronounced Kasagne, but it's obviously Kasaganai. So I do my research if I can. I haven't even talked to him yet. I'm going to talk to him first tomorrow, but I see how other people have done it. If I find a trend, if I see, 3 or 4 interviewers have said it the exact same way and it's different than how it's spelt, then that tells me he or she or the fighter communicated with that person, this is how I say my name, and then that's where the consistency came from.
What's been the most epic fighter introduction that you've done where it's like, the fighter has a really cool nickname or just everything blends together well? Like, what's the best epic fighter introduction that you've done?
I mean, that one's tough. I remember when I did Eddie Hall in Dubai, there was a ton of British fans that came there, and they obviously got crazy, and that was cool because it was one fight, so I got to really give it everything I had into just two names opposed to, you know, a 12-fight card. So that one was great. I mean, really for me, the most energetic intros come down to two things. One, does the fighter, you know, reciprocate energy back? Can I tell if he or she is really into it? And then two, if there's a crowd of people that also get into it, I like to play off of both. So I'm not sure if I have one that like really sticks out, but there's been multiple.
And there's a lot of great fights on this card. Is there a fight that you have your eyes on, like that's flying under the radar?
Under the radar, probably not. I mean, again, like this card is pretty stacked from top to bottom. I mean, Will Brooks, Luis Pena in the main event. I mean, I hate to say the main event. That's cliche. You would hope that the main event is the most exciting one. But to me, that probably is. I mean, I'm excited to see Jared Gooden fight again against Impa. And so, yeah, man, it's probably the main event for me. I know that that's very cliche, but whatever.
Gotcha. And then, you know, for fans who haven't watched XMMA, what can they expect out of the fights? Like the entertainment level, and what can they expect out of you and your voice, what you bring to the table?
Well, for one, the matchmaking for XMMA is phenomenal. You interviewed Jordan Deichler, who's the main matchmaker. He is phenomenal at his job, right? I mean, we got Julian Lane on this card out of nowhere. You know, I thought he was a bare knuckle fighter, and then I see the Julian Lane's on. I'm like, what? Where's he coming from? So the matchmaking is great. You know, if you watched the New Orleans show, if you watch really any of the shows, you'll see, okay, this matchmaking is top notch. So number one, you're going to be entertained by the fights. You're going to be entertained by the production. XMMA likes to have a unique feeling production, which is huge for me. I mean, look, the cookie cutter promotions that just try to follow the basic rules of putting on a show, they don't last. And you see it every time, because all they do is they just do the same model with the same everything, and they just think that they're just going to lay this production or this product that everyone is used to, and that's all they're going to have to do. That's not the case. If you don't have something that is unique, if you don't have a part of your brand or that your product that is different or is different to the viewer, then you can't expect viewership. So that's why I like XMMA, is because they're unique in what they're doing, whether it comes down to the graphics packages that they use or the announcer that they have. I mean, you ask me what I'm going to deliver, I'm going to deliver entertainment. How I've always said it is that there's people that get up there and they read names, and there's announcers. If you want a name reader, awesome. I'm not your guy. I like to entertain people. I like to put on a show for people. The reality is, if you are asking someone to dedicate 3-4 hours of their life to watch your content over someone else's, XMMA is free, but if we were charging pay-per-view, okay, we're going to charge you $50 or whatever the price is. You have to give the viewer a reason why that's worth the money. So that's what I try to do, is to play my role, but to play it to the best of my abilities, where I'm entertaining the fans, I'm hyping up the fighters, and I'm overall just adding to the environment that is XMMA. So it's going to be a great show. The fact that, we've already drummed up as much excitement as we have on just our 5th show, it's over. No promotion is attacking it as uniquely as XMMA is. That's why I'm honored to be a part of it.
And XMMA matchmaker Jordan Deichler had a lot of good things to say about you. He said that you're ready for the next level, that we may be seeing you on the biggest stage there is. What do you have to say about that?
He's right. And Jordan has been a massive supporter of me. I have great conversations with him. I think he understands what I'm trying to do, and he respects me for it, and I respect him for what he's trying to do. Again, look, whether it be the matchmaker, whether it be the ring announcer, whether it be the ring card girl, whether it be the play-by-play commentator, everyone plays their role in a promotion. If everyone can do their job to the best of their ability and provide something that is unique to the viewer, to the audience, that is how we create a good show. So I was really appreciative of what Jordan had to say, but he is right. I'm working on some big things. I'm hopefully going to have some really exciting announcements soon, no pun intended, announcements. But yeah, guys, for those of you that follow me, I appreciate it, and got some cool things in the works.
What message do you have to say to the Big Mo fans watching worldwide?
To the Big Mo fans, to those of you that have supported me and what I'm trying to do, I appreciate it. I know that I add a unique flavor to a rather bland section of the industry, and I appreciate you for embracing me and for following me and liking my content, sharing my content. Wouldn't have anything without you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely appreciate it. I will continue to put on a great show. And as always, but now with Chris and the MMA Island, as always, get wild, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you Saturday night.